Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please?
Covering both sides of the big issues with the analysis you trust on News Radio 1040 WHO.
There is an ad currently playing during my show for an over 50 dating site. And it got me to thinking. I am a happily married guy. I am not dating right now, but my goodness, what a challenge dating during this pandemic and during a time when people are especially lonely, given all of the isolation we've been experiencing. Joining me on the LaMarca Law Group Newsmakers line, it's love and intimacy coach Stacey Murphy to talk this over. Stacey, welcome back to Iowa Radio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me, Jeff.
So, Stacey, what is changing? How are people dating during a pandemic?
Well, what's interesting here is there are actually certain aspects of traditional courtship that are returning, right? And what I'm calling it in our modern age, intentional dating. So what that is people are actually taking the time to build and establish a bond and looking at romance leading to meaningful connections. With the emphasis on meaningful right now, that's like the big theme, right? That's the big theme is meaningful. And so I refer to this as also as the new love boat, getting used to the new normal as we're charting a new course when it comes to dating. And it's not all doom and gloom. There are definitely glimmers of light around us because, with a lot of things, actually dating needed to change, right? We lost some of those traditional courtship things that we used to do. And so some of those are returning, but then being modernized so that it can fit for what's going on right now.
Stacey, I've been talking on this program during the pandemic and acknowledging that people have different levels of fear and anxiety about dealing with COVID-19. And I would imagine that's actually put a complication into the field of dating, right? You have to figure out if the person you're interested in is ready to go to a restaurant or where their tolerance is at. And that may be a challenge if you're not at the same anxiety level. Am I right in that?
You're totally correct. And so one of the things that all coaches, including myself, is you have to have that COVID talk, right? That has to be part of the dating conversation or just in relationships in general, right? You just have to have that COVID talk.
Yeah.
And before you even have that, you need to be clear for yourself. What are your boundaries? What is your risk tolerance? And being okay with that, because here's another thing that is shifting and changing as we're dating and relating to each other. People are working on their communication skills and having more conversations. So this is something that's added into the mix, is having that COVID chat, right?
Yeah.
So, before it was online dating, send a text, maybe a phone conversation, and then meet in person. Well, that has gotten interrupted. That has definitely gotten interrupted, and we're substituting certain things like video dating is now replacing the in-person in the very beginning. And so people are actually getting to know each other more intimately even before they meet each other face-to-face, and that also is a positive.
Well, and Stacey, what I hear you saying, and I often ask this question when we talk about pandemic topics on this show, what's permanently going to be changed? And you sound like in the dating game, there's a lot of positive things that are changing, and they may be permanent. Is romance and wooing coming back?
Oh, yes, it is. And here's the one thing. It's about allowing men to demonstrate their chivalry and for women to accept it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like returning back to that and also it's feeling more, like I said, meaningful. It's not like those drive-by connections where people have gotten used to just swiping to the left and swiping to the right. Right? So it's about meaning right now. And especially in times of crisis, people want to connect. And so the other positive that's happening is people are starved for human contact. So when they do meet each other face to face, guess what they're putting down? They're putting down their technology. Their cell phone is going down. They're turning off the notifications, and they're actually paying attention to the person that's sitting in front of them, right? And so that is another positive because people are thinking like, oh my God, I can now, our meeting and being out there, it's sort of like my get out of jail free card kind of thing. And so those are the other things I would say your listeners focus on those positives. Focus on what the shifts are. Yes, you have to be careful. Yes, you have to know your boundaries, but you don't have to stay in fear, right? And so this is like the message that I want to bring to the listeners, because this is also what I've been telling a lot of my clients in the mindset that I want them to be in, so they can see, there is a silver lining in this whole thing that's going on right now. So it's not all doom and gloom.
Love and intimacy coach Stacey Murphy. Stacey, that's great insight this morning. Thanks for joining me once again, and I'm sure we will talk again soon.